Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 22 of the Mind Over Matter podcast. I know it's been a little bit, and I kind of explained the episode, so thanks for you guys for sticking with us. Make sure to smash that subscribe button. I got to say that. Today on the show, we have one of Trevor's old friends from the Army. His name is Ryan. Super funny guy. In the show, we talk a little bit about the Army, a little bit about leadership, and I kind of get into a little bit about why people aren't joining the Army anymore. So, super funny episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get to it. Yeah, just do it. 3, 2, 1. We're live.
And we're live.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 22 of the Mind Over Matter podcast. I just had some quick admin notes. I know we've been away for a little bit. Pretty much, Trevor and I have been working on our new ad agency that we started. We joined this group called Cashflow Syndicate. Link down below. It's a great group of people, and I recommend everyone join. But the community there and all the stuff you can learn is great. So working with one of our friends and one of his clients and hopefully making some real money soon. So that's where we've been. We're going to aim now for about one a week. It's just kind of been hard since we've been starting this new thing and getting our flow reestablished. So more good stuff to come. And thank you guys all for watching.
Yeah, well, with that said, we'll jump right into it. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a good month. We haven't posted for about a month. Got my good buddy Ryan here. I'm very excited. We met before I met Kevin.
Back in the day.
Very fun. Yeah, very back in the day. He got to
back
meet me.
back in the dams.
Yeah, when I was a 19-year-old idiot still. So Kevin got me a little bit after, but it's definitely fun to see his perspective. We'll talk a little bit about leadership today because I know you're a single dad over there, yeah, on your own. Right?
Yeah, so I get my kid. I get her. I'm blessed, I guess, in that respect because my baby's mama. A lot of people, and especially through the military, they get crushed by the mothers of their children. Be it by them holding the kid over their head, outrageous child support, constant court battles, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm fortunate enough to where my ex is not like that at all. We're actually friends. I get my kid full time in the summers and then every other major holiday. So I get a good amount of time with her. And if I still lived with them in Colorado, I would get her every other weekend as well. So
wow,
not that bad. I'm actually going up to Colorado next week to spend a week with her because she's on her fall break.
Yeah, we really do get the shit end of that stick. Like the custody courts says, oh yeah, because they think we're all fucking crazy. It's like, bro, we're all pretty chill dudes. I mean, most of the people I met were pretty cool.
Experiences may vary.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, not everyone, but
she was just, I think it was just, she was ready to go. You know, she was tired of the military life. And what was shitty about her is as soon as she divorced me, less than a year later, I'm working in 160th and I'm home at 3:00 every day and I'm deploying for like less than 90 days a year and maybe get 1 30-day TDY a year. So, and then now I'm at the schoolhouse where I'm working a basically office hours, 9 to 5. So she just had to hang on a little bit longer, but I guess she couldn't do it.
Hey, on to the next.
Hey, yeah? What can you do? What can you do?
So I want to talk a little bit how leadership within the Army translates to being a single dad, like on your own. Like, how much does that really help you out? When you kind of go home, and how much can you take home to her?
I don't really take a lot home to her. You know, when she goes and tells her friends at school, she's like, "Hey, my dad's in the Army. He keeps bad guys away." You know, and that's been her perspective her whole life because she's just 10 years old. She just turned 10 in June of this year. So, you know, as she gets older and she matures, I'll be able to do a little bit more of that leadership. But as of how it pertains to her life, I try to do it by example. So especially when she's down here with me, what I'll do is she always catches me up early. I'm always up before her. And by the time she's waking up, I'm at home sweaty because I went out and ran 3 miles or went to the gym or something like that. So she's always seeing me constantly improve myself. But at the same time, I got a side gig now. I work with one of the other instructors down here who's a DAC, which is a DA civilian. He was the lead mechanic at the local Harley Davidson down here in Sierra Vista before it closed. So I'm a Harley guy. So I got in with him, and he's teaching me how to work on Harleys. Realistically, he's not even working on them. I'm doing all the fucking work. And So during the summers, I go over there and she is actually interested in renting on bikes with me. So I'm teaching her a mechanical aspect because I've noticed in the past when I do something, she's always one to help. And she has a certain amount of mechanical aptitude that I can probably capitalize on. So with a kid that age, I think leading by example, which is a core leader asset in the Army, because what you will do, and if you lead by example and your people like what you're doing, they'll follow you through hell if they're good soldiers. Now you get the ones that aren't, but the majority of the time, the 80% of them, they're like, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about. He gives a shit, and he's going to do what's best for us. So I think just casting that on my daughter is helping her develop herself as a leader and helping her mature as a child into a young adult.
I got a question for you.
Shoot, man.
How different are soldiers that are coming in the Army from like when you started and then like from like
First,
8 years
yeah.
ago?
First, when did you start? How long you been in?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
Let's get
came-
into that first.
I just got over 14 years. I got a little over 15 years left. I came in 2008 during the True Push, and I was one of the lucky ones that signed his life away in the infantry.
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah.
so everything is a little bit different, a lot different these days. There's a lot more feels involved. You know, some of the guys, I'd say 10%. And you got to understand that I'm in a tech MOS. I'm not in a combat MOS anymore. So these guys are techies. Techies are different soldiers than the warrior class, we'll call them. They're a lot smarter, but they have a lot less common sense, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm tracking what you're saying.
Yep.
Infantry guys, you know, your combat guys, your meat eaters, they got more common sense than they do book smarts most of the time because they're hardworking guys. They, you know, most of the time they came off the street working like a hard labor job, like they were like farmers or construction workers, mechanics. They might have been ex-cops. You know, they were out there getting their hands dirty. Most of the guys coming in here, they're fresh off of mama's couch. You know, they were college students that dropped out. They were family men doing something. COVID-19 hit. They were out of a job. You know, fucking Taco Bell fired them, and now they're in the Army turning wrenches on fucking, you know, $60 million aircraft. So, I mean, the overall sense, and I'm not trying to shit on these guys because they did have the balls to fucking sign on the dotted line. They're a lot softer. You get those 10% guys who are fucking born to be hard, and that's in any MLS. But I'd say the majority of them are just as soft as fucking angel pussy, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that. No, I can definitely see that because one of the things that I noticed, I didn't notice it because it just happened to me, but pretty much the dude that was the shop boss when I got there as a private, pretty much he got promoted at the same time I did. So he was like my boss pretty much my entire time in the Army. And he would always tell me when I would get promoted and then when I got my 6, he's like, why are you so like soft on these guys? Like he's from that generation where like you ought to just be yelling at someone all the time, you know, dropping soldiers left and right. And I'm like, you know, dude, that fucking just doesn't work with these young kids, bro. Like they don't take to being yelled at the way like you or I would, you know.
And I feel your old boss because me coming from an infantry guy, I literally grew up in the Army getting my fucking shit pushed in every day for years. So as I grew and matured as a leader, I understood that everybody is an individual, even though you work as a team. And the closer you get to your soldiers and how they operate and how their minds and hearts operate, the better you can critique them to do the job that you need them to do to fucking complete the mission. So I have mellowed out 100%. Don't get me wrong, I still fuck with these guys. It's still fun. They still need it. They still need to get that little taste of the old school Army, and I'm there to provide it for them. But overall, I've noticed if you manage them with a soft hand, we'll call it that, you get a lot more effective performance out of them because that's just the generation we're in. You have to change with the soldiers that you're leading because if you stay the same and all the soldiers are changing, it's not going to be effective. They're not going to work for you.
Yeah, especially in a time like now where social media is kind of blown up, how we shouldn't really be trusting authority anymore. It's kind of taken, like you kind of see it in the government. Everyone says don't trust the government anymore. So you get these
Right.
kids that don't really know how to respond to authority anymore, i.e., me,
Right.
who hate being told what to do, or seen it all growing up that they shouldn't be told what to do. Don't be doing what, like, don't respond in a way. How do I say this? I don't know. I guess I lost track, but it's, you kind of got like yeah, I know, you kind of got a weird changing group of people that don't know how to respond to authority, and yeah, you're not going to be able to tell them to just do push-ups because it's just not going to work anymore.
You got to waste their time, dude. What it is you got to waste their time, and you still have those soldiers that do respond to the physical aspect. Like, so I like to play a joke on my guys. So during instruction, when they're at the schoolhouse, cell phones are absolutely no go. They will drop an Article 15 on your ass for nothing for that. So I always like to play a joke. I'm like, hey man, I got my Bluetooth speaker out. Let me borrow your phone so I can play some music. And I actually had a private. I was sitting on the station. He's like, Sarge, how often does that shit work? And I'm like, I don't know. So one of the guys he's a dumb guy. He's one of the hard 10% though. I go, I'm going to leave his name. And I was like, hey, private, hey, go, let me see your phone so I can play some music on this Bluetooth speaker. And his fucking face just drops. He's like, Sarge, he goes, I'm going to have integrity. I accidentally brought my phone to school today.
Oh, he told
really?
you? Oh,
Yeah.
Shout out to him, man. I like that.
Yeah. He like every time he fucks up, he owns up to it. So I dusted him off. Like I gave him a good dusting for about, I don't want to say about 30 minutes. Because I came up to him and I was like, hey man, we could do this the easy way or we can go old school. He goes, because he's phase 5. So that means he can go out on the town on the weekends, go have dinner, go to the mall, go fucking bang a tenderoni, wherever the fuck he's got going on,
Yeah, I'm sure.
He doesn't want to lose that. So,
so just like we did, Trevor. Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
looking at all. Yeah.
So he took the dust and then one of his buddies started laughing at him. So I fucking jumped him in and fucking got his ass.
Cook his ass.
That's rule number 1, bro. If someone's getting smoked, you just ignore them.
Walk away, bro.
You turn away.
Yeah.
I don't want no part of that.
The difference is with these cultures these days is when I came up as a private/specialist, if I saw a fucking sergeant first class, dude, I was turning around and walking the other way, man.
Dude, I would not. Yep.
E6s, sergeant first classes back in the day were fucking demigods, dude. You would turn to stone if you looked at them. It was just, it's crazy how these guys just come up to you, man. They want to tell you about their fucking family, how their weekend was and all that shit. And I'm like, yeah, how was that spaghetti at fucking Olive Garden, private?
Yeah. Oh man.
Because they're in AIT, right? So they can only have like, I went to the mall or the Dunkin'. I don't even know where the hell that kid's go nowadays, bro. I went to go play Fortnite or something.
I think they got like on the weekends they got like a 50-mile radius. I mean, they could probably sneak up to Tombstone, but I'm sure that Uber there and back costs about fucking $100, so they're not doing that. They're just hanging around this little town.
That shit was like $20 to go to the mall, fucking 5 feet away, and that was back in like 2016. So it was like $50 now.
Yeah, that's no telling what it is now.
I got a question for you though, and I don't want to get you in trouble. So speaking only as your person and not at the Army at all, why is the Army having recruiting problems right now?
It's generational, man. It's like these kids. They're like, what are we starting to call it? We're calling it the hustle age or whatever. These kids are wanting to get their own hustles on. You know what I'm saying? They're wanting to try to figure out for themselves. They're techies. They watch all the TikTok videos. They want to be TikTok famous or YouTube famous. They want to get in the stock market and investing. They want to create some type of fucking business to where they can make it on their own. And I'm not saying these kids are stupid. I'm just saying they're not wanting to put their hands on anything. They're like not wanting to work technical skills. Example. So my buddy down here is a civilian buddy. He works as a lineman for it's called I forget the name of the company. It's the electrical company around here. They're in California, they're in Nevada, they're in New Mexico, they're in Arizona. I remember when I was a kid, I filled out an application. I was probably 18 years old for the local power company to be a lineman. It was a 3-year wait. These guys cannot find anybody to work as a lineman. My buddy's been a lineman for 2 years now. He's making fucking 6 figures. 6 figures.
Holy
And they
That's
can't
a
even get,
lineman?
yeah. And they can't even get people to fucking come and work, dude. So
That's a big thing now, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, you need linemen for power. That's infrastructure, you know? Hell, man, if I was thought I would be in the shape or have the ability to do it when I retire from the Army, hell, I would go start out day one fucking apprentice lineman, man. I've always wanted to do it. It's a badass job. You're working with a bunch of hard motherfuckers, man, and that's what I like. I like being around hard motherfuckers, and that's why the Army kind of fucking chaps my asshole these days, because they're pushing the hard motherfuckers out.
Hey, you only got a couple years left, though.
Yeah, man, it's cool.
Where
I'll
have
get
you
my
been
time.
though? Because when I met you, yeah, you were going to 160th in Tennessee. What was before that? And now you're in Arizona. So
You want me to
really
start at the beginning, or
all over the place?
how do you want me?
How do you-
Yeah, I've been. So my first duty station, I came in the Army. I came in the Army on an Army Ranger contract. So when I got to basic training, of course, I didn't know shit about the Army. I turned 25 in basic. So I'm out there, I'm working my ass off. I'm used to the heat because I worked road construction right before I got in, and I grew up in Georgia. So obviously the heat in Georgia didn't fucking bother me as much as the other cats. So I came in an Army Ranger contract. I worked tile with this guy on the side for a long time, and he was in the Army Rangers during like Panama and all that shit. So he's always Army Ranger, Army Ranger, Army Ranger, Army Ranger. So I went in, recruiter was like, this is what I want to do. They're like, hey man, $5,000 bonus. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Cool, man.
Yeah, sign me
So
up.
Hell yeah.
When I get to basic, of course, I don't know shit about the Army about, I don't know, probably about 4 or 5 weeks into training. They're like, hey, airborne school is on like a 6-week hold, and then it's another like 6 weeks for RIP. This is what we could do, because they're trying to get people to go to other fucking duty stations. You can go to your duty station, you know, do a deployment, get some experience, put in a packet, come right back to Ranger school, pass Ranger school, and then you'll be a fucking Ranger. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. Let's fucking deploy.
Yeah, sounds
Gotcha.
like there's no
Yeah.
problem there.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, man. I'll go fucking stack some bodies and come back and get my tab. Fucking sounds great. Dick hard. Let's move. You know.
Mhm.
So
Oh yeah.
So 2 weeks before we graduate, that's when we were all getting our orders and shit. And I get my orders and it says the honor guard. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go up to my drill sergeant. I'm like, hey, drill sergeant, this says I'm going to fucking DC. I don't know about any infantry division in fucking Washington, DC.
Yeah.
And he looks at me,
Sorry.
he's like, no, playa, you're going to spend the next 3 years in blues. I'm like, blues?
No.
All I got is fucking jeans, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're stacking ribbons. You ain't stacking no bodies, bro.
Right, exactly. So I was like, what the fuck? So they sent me off to the honor guard, and so I got there, and I fucking hated it, man. I fucking hated it.
Oh my god, I did
Were
not
you
know
like
this.
fucking flipping the rifle and all that crazy shit that you see
Well,
him do?
That's the drill team. So I was on a casket team. I was working in Arlington National Cemetery, and so
Oh.
I was in Alpha Company 4-3, which we were called Commander in Chief's Guard, right? So we were the original in the Army detail to guard George Washington. That's how old this unit is. And as I learned and progressed in this unit, I learned to appreciate it more. And like most of the people I served with that I was close with in that unit, I still communicate to this day with. Like I still got group chats with 3 of the guys in my platoon that we talk through every fucking day. But yeah, it was sucked. So this is how it started off. So I get there.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's how the army works, man.
Yeah.
It sucked. I met great people, but it sucked.
So I get there, right, and I'm like, I get picked up by this guy named the Cotter. He's dead now. Yeah.
R.I.P.
That was just a hell
Come
of a
on,
way, yeah.
man.
Shout out
Yeah,
to
I
you,
mean-
brother. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
man.
He was a good guy. He was a badass staff sergeant. He had already done 2 deployments with 82nd. And usually what I learned to understand is if you were squared away enough as an NCO to get honor guard, you basically went there, and that was like a 3-week break. I mean, a 3-year break from fucking Iraq or Afghanistan. So because all my squad leaders and all my team leaders that were E5 or above that had PCS from somewhere else had at minimum, I'm talking about E5s, at minimum 2 deployments under their belt. Now, if they had, with that being said, had they fashioned my company into an actual combat unit with the combat experience that we had, we would be fucking used to sock level because all these guys were fucking meat eating fucking killers, dude. It frustrated them to
It's
not
like-
be in the field.
Yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, just like the place to go to hang out. That's like our deployments in 160th. We were like fiending for the deployments just because we were so sick of being at home.
Yeah,
It's
being in
the
Garrison.
opposite,
Garrison's fucking 160th Garrison was it was cool, but it was terrible because that's where all the fucking backstabbing occurred. So
That's the most
Hey,
Army thing I
Yeah,
ever heard, bro.
I was yeah, Garrison. Yeah, Garrison sucked.
No, it was cool, but it was terrible at the same time.
like your social life and the outside of work life was great, and then everything else at work kind of sucked, man. I found myself in that unit being a fucking umbrella for shit. So like my guys I would just eat shit balls so my guys didn't have to, you know.
What battalion were you in?
I was the 2nd Battalion.
Oh hell yeah! So hey, us too, bro. Shout out to Second Battalion,
Yeah,
my favorite
Yeah.
battalion. Yeah, no, it is a lot of nonsense just because like it seems everything. Like I get it, we have like a life and death job, but like all the shit that they made seem like it was gonna kill someone if we didn't do it. Like I don't know, cleaning the hangar or like moving a fucking piece of equipment, laying out the on call shit over and over and over again. It's like, oh my goodness gracious! Like if this doesn't happen, I'm sorry, the sun's still gonna rise and it's gonna fucking set tomorrow. Like this is not the end of the world.
So I can agree with that and I can disagree with that because I've noticed as a leader and as a soldier training myself that repetition, man, it's repetition, repetition, repetition. And once you train to fail, you don't train to get it right. You know what I'm saying? You train until you fucking get it wrong, and then you train some more. So that's what I think makes an excellent soldier is somebody who's, yeah, it sucks. Is it boring? Is it repetitive? Yeah. But in the end, when you have to utilize that skill, it's going to be there and it's going to be second nature.
Yeah, that's a fair
only-
point. That's a fair point.
And then in a
I
life
will
and death,
still bitch
I was still
about it,
bitch
though.
about it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
I've
that's
always
okay.
bitched
You've
about
been
it, but
hanging
I'll
around me too much.
yeah, man, it's like, hey, I'm going to do it. I'm going to bitch the whole time. But yeah, getting back
it's
to the
fucking
old guard,
800 degrees, man.
Oh,
we were
yeah,
stationed. We were stationed in downtown, like basically in Southwest DC. We lived on General's Row. Like literally, Stan McChrystal's house was across the street from my fucking barracks, dude. This was the War College was on my base. It's the Hall of Records for the United States Army was on my base. It was cool. So we would do a lot of like the unit would go through rotations. One company would be in the cemetery for a month, then another company, and then while you're not, you're doing field training or ceremony training. So, and that's basically how I
Field
lived my life.
training?
Yeah, we would still go to the field and train. We still had to stay qualified on everything: STXs, land nav, fucking, gun ranges, all that shit. So we still did that, but we trained as light guys. We didn't train we didn't really do convoys or anything like that. We just go out in the field, do like little STXs, movements to contacts, keep up on our land nav, fucking ruck marches till we died because there's a bigger height, there's a more stringent height and weight standard in the honor guard because you are the face of the Army.
Yeah.
So it was like if you were cut, you were in the game, and if you were fucking 6 pounds overweight, you were fucking sitting in the barracks pulling fucking CQ. They're not gonna put a fat body in front of anybody.
Yeah, my friend Taylor, shout out to you if you're watching this, bro. But I known him since 6th grade. He got orders to go in the honor guard. Said he actually laid George H.W. Bush to rest, so that is pretty neat.
Shit.
But yeah, he was saying basically when he got there, they gave him this belt, and it was like a fucking 26-inch belt, and you basically got to fit into that. Luckily he's like 6'4" and he's cut up as hell. So
It's called a C-belt.
yeah, I'm sure. I mean, yeah, you got another one I'm talking about. Yeah, it's like it goes on your waist, and it's like a fucking corset to.
It's the
Motions.
ceremonial belt. Yeah, you button it up over your uniform. It goes on top.
It looks clean if you're in shape. I'm not
So
gonna
tough.
lie.
Yeah, if you're in
Hey.
shape, it's not uncomfortable because it'll conform to your body and it's tight enough to where it stays there, but it's also not tight enough to where you're not going to you're not going to get constricted. But I'll tell you what, if you're standing out in fucking Washington D.C. in June and it's 95 degrees and fucking 90% humidity, that
And they're
the
just doing
likelihood of a
left
fallout
faces, bro.
is
Yeah.
high.
Yeah, ain't
So-
no belt helping that heat, bro.
No. And plus, you got those crazy ass caps on too, and you can't wipe your face. You just got sweat running down your face, fucking in your eyeballs. Like when you march off the fucking field, you can't even see. It looks like you're fucking 6 ways from fucking Sunday drunk.
A party.
Every goddamn blur from sweat.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that unit being undermanned, just with the new soldiers that. we're
Yeah,
getting in.
I wonder why we got no one to cover it.
Yeah, bro.
I mean,
like,
It's tedious work. It's very tedious work. I remember when I first got down there, I went through this. They got an indoctrination program called ROPE. It's called Regimental Orientation Program. And so my
Rope?
team leader, ROPE, and Regimental Orientation Program. And so that's where you learn how to march. That's where you learn ceremonial composure to the old guard standard, and you learn how to do your uniforms. And I was down there working on my blues one night. I'm talking about I got home. We're back to the bees, and we had our own press room in the basement. It's a steam/press room, just like you see in like the movies where like these Asian ladies are down there in the basement just pressing fucking shirts and shit, all hot and steamy and shit. So I'm down there doing it, and I finally got my uniform to where I thought it was right. My team leader came down there. His name is Rudolph. I'm not gonna say his first name, but his name's Rudolph. And he looks at my shit, and I'm sitting there, I'm all proud and shit, like waiting for him. I'm at parade rest, waiting for him to say, "Good job, Private." He takes my fucking dress blues, balls them up, throws them on the steamer, closes that bitch, steams it, and says, "Do it again." So
wow. Was it
repetition.
wrong? Oh, okay. I see.
Repetition.
Probably not. Probably not.
He had to make sure it wasn't a fluke.
Yeah.
But that's a hard
So-
one to like from a person with your experience and standpoint, you'll understand that it's just repetition for a kid who's 19 years old just getting into there. Like in the moment, you're like, hell yeah.
That's actually happened a lot of times throughout my career. Even as I got up as an NCO, in several different fashions, it's happened to me. So
Yeah,
it's
that
not
was
it's
a-
not an uncommon thing, and it's humbling moment because when you're fucking sitting there repping shit out, you know you fucking suck at something. So that humbles you in itself, and it also motivates you to get better at what you suck at.
Yeah, that was a big thing when I was in Green Platoon. They would always tell us like there's two ways to learn something. It's like endless repetition and like brute force or some crazy shit.
Yep.
And I'm at the time I was like 18. I'm like, I don't know about this, man. This seems kind of shitty.
This is shitty.
Yeah. But then it kind of made sense like later in my career. But at the time, man, I'm like, oh my God, I got to go through this fucking pit again. Like, oh, look, another heavy object to move an impossible distance. But I saw why they did it at the end.
I don't know if Trevor remembers, but when we went to Green Platoon, I sucked at the fucking rucksacks, dude. I sucked at the layouts, dude. I was constantly getting the whole goddamn class dusted the fuck off because of these goddamn layouts, man.
Can you explain the layouts real quick to anyone who doesn't know what you're talking about?
Yeah, so you have a specific packing list for the night. It's called the Night Stalker packing list. You have basically all your basic necessities in a Ziploc bagged, airtight, taped off, and just perfectly sealed. And
Basic necessities for like a week. like
for you get
stranded.
it's like 45 pounds of gear. You got PT shoes in there. You got an extra uniform, cold weather gear, wet weather gear, whoopee. You got your canteen cup. You got a lighter.
See, this man remembers, bro. Repetition.
Flashlight. Yeah, repetition.
The batteries.
That was 2018, and I still remember the fucking packing list. I actually still have my Night Stalker packing list in my fucking rucksack.
Oh man.
Hell yeah! Is it packed still?
I broke some gear out of it because I let some guys borrow some gear for some field ops and shit like that. But most, it's packed.
Damn.
So, but you would have all that shit there.
Man.
But if you have one bag, so you had to have like, the tops had to be everything had to be folded a specific way and put into the bag. The bag had to be airtight. It had to be taped with your name on it. And if anything at all was fucked up, we're running or we're doing push-ups or some dumb shit.
And they rip your bag, so you got to go home dog ass tired and
Yeah,
fucking pack
dude.
bags.
You just got done with the 12 hour. Yeah, you just ran. You did a
Is-
bunch of dumb shit all day. Now you got zero time to go home, eat, hang out with whoever you want to hang out with. You got no personal time, and you got to get
Mhm.
back to doing these dumb ass bags, man.
And we
And I
had
would
a
go home.
time limit too. Yeah.
Oh, I would go back to the bees because I was TDY for that shit. I would go back to the bees and actually do layouts. You remember hoteling?
Hmm.
Yeah.
So me and him would go down. He's a fucking private, and I'm an E6, and he was really
yeah.
good at
Oh,
layouts.
his name was Hoteling?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, I
And,
thought you meant like to become an instructor. Okay.
I did hotel though. I didn't make hotel, but I tried it. But no, he would go down there and he would actually work with me on the layouts and shit. I still got videos of me doing layouts on my phone
Damn.
where I finally got it for the first time. He was recording it, so I mean, because I like to take film when I work out and I do deadlifts. I film myself and I don't post it online, but I watch it to make sure I'm doing proper form. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm doing something, I'm watching these layouts. Where can I shed like 1 second? Because really, that's all that matters. 1 second counts with those fucking layouts. What was it? A minute to get it out and 30 seconds to pack it or some shit like that. I don't remember. It was fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
It's whatever they felt like.
Yeah.
Just a little bit quicker than they thought you could do it then.
Yeah. No, yeah, I did want to jump into your fitness journey because you are a pretty well chiseled male.
Yeah, for my age. I mean, for my age, I'd have to say I'm pretty good for my age. I'm not the best, but I'm pretty good.
Yeah,
But
and
I'm
on
always.
your Instagram, you got a bunch of meats. Big meat guy. Yeah, what's your favorite?
Yeah, I like
what do you like to grill up the most?
Man, I've been smoking a lot of chicken lately because that's the more healthier option. And I've always sucked at cooking chicken. And I found out the secret to cooking chicken. It's not chicken breasts, it's chicken thighs, bro. Like, it really is because you can't get them wrong, man. You can't get them wrong. And chicken breast, if you don't get chicken breast perfect, it's going to come out dry as fuck every time. And it just sucks. And you waste your money. You throw it out and then you hate chicken. And then
And
So my
then
buddy
you
was
ate
like-
chicken for a month.
Yeah. So my buddy was like, "Hey man, have you tried chicken thighs?" I'm like, "Chicken thighs? Well, no, I haven't." So I went and got a pack of chicken thighs. I marinated. I just threw just a normal marinade on it. I let it sit overnight, and I smoked it on like 300 for like something like to the tune of 45 minutes to an hour. I don't remember what it was. Perfect. Skin was crispy. Meat was nice and juicy and tender. Perfect. I was like, I'm never going back to chicken breast. Chicken breast can suck my fucking dick.
All about the thighs, baby.
Well,
Yeah.
because the breast you have
I'm
to
more
get
of,
it like
I'm more of an
barely
ass
past
man
it.
myself anyway, so fuck them.
Yeah, because the breast you got to get it
Amen.
like barely past done, but the thighs you can fucking obliterate and they'll still be good.
Right. Yeah, because there's more fat in there. And then a lot of people, they're like, well, they're fatty. It's like animal fat's good, dude. Animal fat's good for you. It's that trans fat and all that other fucking saturated fat and all that shit. That's bad for you.
I'd rather eat that fat than like Oreos.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah,
Dude.
look at the food pyramid, bro. That's like you got to eat 8 loaves of bread and like look at some fat every week,
Yeah. I stay away from. I try to stay. I carved up tonight. I did spaghetti. I did chicken parmesan because I got a ruck march, a 12.5 mile that I volunteered for. Don't ask me why.
Foolish.
Brother,
Yeah,
for
on-
what, tomorrow?
On Friday.
Oh.
On Friday.
Oh my gosh.
So,
What a Friday.
I'm starting my carb. I'm carving all week. I did rice last night. I did spaghetti tonight, and then tomorrow's football. So I'll do hot wings and French fries.
Yeah.
I'll burn it off. I'll burn it off.
Yeah.
12 miles. You'll burn anything off.
Actually,
that
the
time.
Bears play tomorrow, don't they?
Yeah, Bears. They're playing in Chicago against the
Yeah,
Washington Commanders.
Yeah, Commandeers or whatever. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the craziest shit, man.
Well, F that shit. The Washington football team.
That was the craziest shit,
Just
man.
left Washington Redskins. To be honest with you.
Reds, they tried to take away the Blackhawks too. I'm from Chicago. I'm a big Blackhawks fan. I got the tattoo on 'em.
So
They're playing
A little
tonight,
story-
too, but
a little story about the Washington Redskins. You know how they're saying it's offends Native Americans and all that stuff, and I can see where that's a possibility. But this is a firsthand account. When I first moved to Arizona, I drove up to Colorado to get my daughter, and we stayed at the the Gaylord up in Denver. And instead of just driving straight back down the interstate, straight back into Arizona, I was like, we're going to drive through Rocky fucking Mountains. So we took off west out of Denver, got on a fucking highway, plugged my GPS in, and we just took off through the dead center of the fucking Rocky Mountains, right? Stopping wherever we wanted to stop, staying wherever we wanted to stay, because that was that Doge summer, bro. I was caked up.
Hey.
And I just sold a house. So they're like, money wasn't an option. We could literally do whatever the fuck we wanted. So as we got out of Colorado, I was like, I've always been interested in Native American culture. I was like, we're driving through the Navajo reservation. We're going through the nation. You know what I'm saying? So we come out of Colorado, come in, we go right past Four Corners, which is the Four Corners of Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona. It's right there in the Navajo Nation. So that was the first thing we seen, basically, when we came into the Navajo Nation. So we drive something to the tune of like 70 miles. We hit our first gas station. So she wants to go to the bathroom. We stop, go to the bathroom, all that stuff. You could tell these people weren't too keen on white folk. It's cool. I got you. You know, no hay here. So anyway, we get our cokes, get back in our shit, and we fucking travel.
They don't like your kind. Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't from around here, are you?
Yeah.
So we get back in the truck. We drive about another 30 miles when we hit the first small town. And this is when the whole Washington Redskins shit was like really popping off. They'd already changed their name to the Washington football team. And I passed the first high school. Lo and behold, you know what the team's mascot is?
Tell me
Oh
it's a
my
Redskin, dude.
Redskins, dude. In the middle of the Navajo Nation. Swear to fucking God. Google that shit.
I'm just happy that they changed the name and now no one's racist anymore. So that's a small price to pay, I think.
I think I'm a very, very politically incorrect person. I am by no means racist, but I think stereotypes are funny as fuck. Like it just
Gotta
is.
be one
Like
of the funniest topics, at least. One of
I know, man.
Gotta be
It's
part
like,
of the funniest jokes. If it's
You
not
get
dark
shit-
humor, it's stereotypes.
yeah, I like dark humor too, man. It's like, so I had one guy who's a Redskins fan, and they're like, "Hey, man, I heard they're not even letting people wear Redskins jerseys into the stadium anymore." I'm like, "Really? That's crazy." So yeah, it's got to be a Washington football team jersey or a Commanders jersey. They're not letting you in. And I go, "Huh." So I'm at the bar like a week later, and I'm talking to another Redskins fan, or no, I'm talking to somebody who has a buddy who lives in the DC area who's a Redskins fan. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I heard that they're not even letting people into the stadium wearing Redskins jerseys." And he's like, "Huh, that's weird, because my buddy just sent me a picture of him at the game wearing a Redskins jersey." And he showed me a picture, and I go, and they go, they let him in, and he shows me a picture of him, and it's a black dude wearing a fucking Redskins jersey. I was like, "Oh, that's because he's black."
Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
Yeah. You ain't gonna say nothing to him.
Motherfucker.
let my scrawny ass walk in there with the Redskin.
Oh yeah, your glass of skim milk looking ass, Trevor. Ain't no way. I might be fine. I told him I was Native American.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. No,
I
so
wanna
wait,
ask,
go
though-
on, Kev.
Yeah, real
We
quick.
got way off track.
Yeah, what
Whatever.
do you think could be done? Let me correct that. What do you think the Army could do that would boost retention right now, if anything?
Boost retention.
Or not
Retention or
retention. I'm
recruiting?
sorry, enlistment. My bad.
So we got offered, all right. So there's an actual initiative right now for us as people who are already active duty to call back home, call friends back home, and see if they want to enlist in the Army. That's how desperate they're getting. And I look straight up, looked at my commander. I'm like, "Look, sir," I go, "I'm 39 fucking years old. All my friends are either 39 years old
Yeah.
or older, or 38 years old. They own their own businesses. They have their own careers. They're all making more money than me.
Yeah.
Why would they fucking drop what they're doing, their families, their home, and come and be a private in the United States Army?" So
Yeah, that
that's-
would be kind of alarming if you had just a bunch of 18-year-old friends.
Dude, it's like, yeah, that would be kind of strange.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah,
what the
give me a second. Let me call the whole high school senior class real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, I got him on Snapchat, dude. We hang out all the time.
Yeah, it's like that's not even feasible, you know. And even if there was a person my age that would be interested or close to my age that would be interested in joining the Army this late in the game, they got a fucking criminal record a mile long, and that's the only reason why they're interested in fucking getting in the Army.
You know, life did not go as they planned if they joined the Army at
30, bro.
38 years old.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now,
there's
there
there's
are-
an age limit, ain't there? Isn't it 30?
Yeah. No, it's like older than that now. It's like 36 or
They
some
changed
shit.
it?
No, it ain't 30, bro. Yeah.
It might be 40. Hell, I don't know. I don't pay attention to
I
that
want to
shit.
say it was like
I'd
30,
be-
35 when I was going through.
I'd be willing to bet they would let anyone in.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, right now, yeah. They'd let your grandpa in, man.
Yeah, what? You're 45? Give me a birth
They sent that
certificate.
motherfucker right in the S shop, dude. S1 till you die.
Yeah, man.
Just a piece of paper with a crayon written on it just says fucking I'm 35.
Yeah, it's
One of those
I
fucking
am
jacked
12.
old men, bro. Y'all seen those guys?
That
Yeah.
the bench warmers
Yeah.
joke. I am 12.
Yeah.
the thing is with the
That's what I was thinking of.
recruiting is like there's also a culture of lack of patriotism these days, which gets kids away from wanting to join the Army for the premise of defending their country. The whole fucking free college thing, that's out. Thanks, Joe Biden. You know, because they're giving the loan forgiveness now. And I know I heard there's like all kinds of stipulations to it, but that's all they fucking heard is loan forgiveness. They're like, oh, they don't do the fine research. They just go to school, rack up the debt. And they're like, well, Joe Biden said we're getting forgived. So that's word is bond. And then they're going to get fucked with the goddamn bill anyway. So you got that. Not only that, but like here on Fort Huachuca, and I'll go ahead and fucking call them out. They like fired most of our PAs here. Like there's literally two PAs on this entire fucking post, dude. Like if
What's
I called up
PA?
with,
Sorry.
Positions assistant.
Just yeah.
so that's
okay.
basically the guy. When you go to sick call, that's the guy you go to see. The civilian guy. You know what was that creeper's name that always wanted to lick your dick at the fucking Night Stalker clinic?
Oh,
You know
my
what I'm talking
boy
God,
Alexander, bro.
Alexander,
Yeah.
That's my boy.
Yeah.
He's like, you got a broken arm, got to do a prostate exam. Shout out to
about.
that
Yeah,
guy.
he's like, hey man,
Hope
yeah,
he's doing
you got
Yeah.
to bust the knee. Go ahead and flop that bad boy out.
Yeah.
You know?
Let me see how she's working.
Hope
today.
he's taking care of
Yeah,
himself.
what's
I
Dick
really
doing,
do.
bro?
That dude owns like 5 Airbnbs. He started an Airbnb business and now he runs a church. He built his own church.
He
Would've thought, bro.
always hooked me up, man. I don't got a problem with him other than the fucking constant sexual assault, you know. But
Other
You
than
know, I
that,
grew
other
up-
than that, we're good though.
that was a thing, so it didn't bother me as much.
Seems pretty lucrative, though.
Yeah,
Other than that, we're good to go. Hey, if
Yeah,
if
no.
he's giving me
On the
ibuprofen.
army topic, yeah. No, I was talking to my dad about it though, and I was telling him, I'm like, well, we don't really have like an enemy right now as a country. Like we can't agree on anything, and we all hate each other. It's like we in the 80s we had Russia, in the 90s we didn't have anything, and then like the early 2000s we got the Taliban, and that kind of carried us over. It's like, okay, you know, this is an enemy that we get to, you know, rally behind.
the United States of America is constantly looking for somebody to fight. There's plenty of people to fight, so we're just
It has to
waiting
be a
on.
common one.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have division-sized elements grouped in fucking Eastern Europe right now. You know what I'm saying? They're bumping up the fucking numbers in Korea. You know, all those places, they're bumping up. We got soldiers stationed routinely in Romania now. Like fucking, not like fucking signal guys or anything like that, like fucking aviation units in Romania. You know, that used to be like a once in a blue moon rotation. And now there's a constant fucking rotation going in there because my friend from First Cav, she's in First Air Cav. They just got back from Romania. And, you know, 101st is over in fucking Poland right now, you know? So there's pieces on the board fucking moving. And you got Vladimir Putin threatening to push the button. We're over there fighting a fucking proxy war. You got all these fucking dumbass veterans with nothing else to do, fucking jumping into fucking Ukraine by any means
that's
necessary. You
dumb
know,
as shit, bro.
that's dumb as I mean, it's not dumb. I can see why they're doing it. They think, it's David versus Goliath, and they think they're doing the right thing. But politically, on the big map, the big fucking picture, you don't want to be that guy that gets caught being an ex-service member, U.S. military trained, fighting in fucking Ukraine. You don't. You know what I'm saying?
Let Russia
Because they're
get
gonna
a hold
take
of you.
They're going to take that as an act of aggression from the United States of America, whether you're a fucking uniformed service member or not.
Oh, you'll be
So-
on every news station in Russia if that's your ass.
Yeah,
Dude.
let Russia get a hold of you.
But even then though, like I know a lot of people, I mean just that I know that think that both sides are equally corrupt. So like it's not an objectively bad like there's no objective bad guy there. Like some people think one side's good, sometimes or people think the other side's good, and then some people think they
Now-
both suck. We just don't have a common like okay, this is the enemy.
There's a rabbit hole that we could go down, but I don't want to soil my name.
Yeah,
But-
you don't want to get in trouble.
Vladimir Putin, I will say this, and this is something for y'all to think about. Vladimir Putin is a lot smarter than you think he is. There was a lot of shit going on with the current administration's family in Ukraine, and nothing popped off
Oh,
until
yeah.
that current administration took administration, and then fucking pieces started moving. You got to understand that Vladimir Putin was an intelligence agent for fucking 40 years before he became fucking president. He knows what the hell's going on in the world. And that's all. I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all go ahead.
No,
Y'all-
we're picking it up, man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just
So
I see it all the time, like especially when it first happened. Like the news that I was seeing was saying that Putin pretty much invaded the Ukraine because he wanted to, like just because he has this
no.
bloodthirst. And it's like, dude, if you listen to what he's actually saying, like he's not saying that. Like he'll tell you why he invaded. You just have to listen to him. And so I'm
Mhm.
like, well, okay. On one hand, the actual guy is saying why he's doing it, and then he's like, and whatever, don't listen to him. He don't know what he's talking about.
Right. Exactly.
Eh.
He'll tell you everything he's doing. You just have to listen.
Yeah, it's like it
And
was this
and
same thing,
Zelensky, the Zelensky will not tell you everything he's doing. He'll just ask for more money and weapons, and then he's wanting to win this world by any means necessary because he thinks he's a martyr for his fucking people, which he's just going to end up getting all his fucking people killed. Because if the clash of the Titans happens, guess where it's fucking starting at? Ukraine. If World War III pops off, there will be no Ukraine left.
Yeah.
That's just a cold hard truth.
I could see World War III or no, that's this. I could see how a civil war would happen.
Because
America
we're-
has no
we're-
advantage.
Go into Russia. We're not going to go into Russia.
Yeah, we have
We're
no
supposed to
reason
rush
to
this
get
troops
Ukraine.
right now. Right. But we're not going into Russia. We're supposed to rush his troops right now in fucking Ukraine. Where the fuck do you think we're going? Ukraine.
Yeah,
That's their
we
whole
don't even really
goal,
like
bro.
why would we really give a shit about Ukraine if World War III, if Russia threatened to actually blow it up and shit started actually popping off? There's no real strategic value for U.S. having Ukraine. So what's
There
the
could be strategic value. It's a link between the Middle East, the Baltics, and and Eastern Europe. With that being said, dude, Biden's hand has been in fucking Ukraine for goddamn decades, dude.
way too long.
Decades.
Hey, my
Oh,
boy,
dude,
my
it
boy
is.
Joe. Actually, I did
I
want to
wish
ask
I
you
knew the
about him.
specifics, bro.
I knew.
Are you going to fucking? Well, if you were the president of the United States, you could fucking do whatever you wanted because everybody fucking loves you. And if you don't like Joe Biden, you're a racist and a bigot. And you're fucking, if somebody fucks your buddies up, that's paying you up to the tune of $40 million a year. You think you're not going to go in there and, dude, Trevor, we're boys, dude. If you were paying me $45 fucking million a year and somebody fucking farted and you sniffed it, I'd fucking come jack their jaw right now. I'd be on a goddamn plane.
Yep.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of goddamn money. Bro.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
would do the same. I do it for free. Hell.
I mean, I'm sure none of my numbers are accurate, but y'all get the big picture. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? There's a lot of money involved there. There's a lot of fucking corruptness, and because if you look at it, nobody liked that president in Ukraine until all this shit popped off.
Yeah,
No,
I saw.
Yeah,
I
no,
saw
the
a tweet.
approval
It was,
ratings. Yeah.
it was the Ukraine tweets or the Ukraine headlines before and after the invasion. It was like on the left before 2016. It was like, oh, the most corrupt country in all of Europe, and
Yep.
now it's just some shining bastion of democracy for us all to emulate.
Right.
for the whole world to see out of
Freedom.
nowhere.
Yeah.
The beacon of freedom.
Yeah. Freedom
No,
and
they wanna-
democracy where they
Ask about. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it's a country of freedom and democracy where the president outlawed, political opinions that disagree with his. So, which
I'll tell you this
we're
much.
already pretty much
Shout
at.
out to democracy.
It's a
Yeah,
strange
thank
situation,
God.
and I have somewhat of a personal knowledge because my buddy, we'll just call him by his first name, Eric. He was a friend of mine when I was stationed in Fort Carson. He's a civilian. Now this guy is rich as fuck. He was a day trader, and I ran into him and I met him through a mutual friend. And this guy, he's really, really cool, really, really smart, has a lot of money, really successful guy, but he was skinny as fucking shit, dude. And I met him when I was training up for Green Platoon. He's like, "Hey, bro, I'll tell you what, man. If you fucking let me come to the gym with you and work out with me during the week, I mean, we already hang out on the weekends anyway." He goes, I'll cover your bar tab every time we go out."
What?
I was like,
Oh.
say less, my dude. So I got this dude fucking jacked, man. Like he probably weighed $135 soaking wet, and then when I PCS'd to Campbell, he was probably right around $165, $170, because he had no fat on him. He just stacked straight muscle.
Dude.
I got him the mass gainer protein, all that shit. I was like, dude, take this shit 3 times a day, 2 scoops. You'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? So
Got him on
anyway,
some tests.
he'd always been interested. He does traveling. So like he was going down to like fucking Colombia, and he would spend a month in Colombia and just day trade down to Colombia, and he'd party at night. You know what I'm saying? Or he would work early in the morning and then party all day in Colombia, fucking doing coke off of fucking big titty bitches' asses and shit. You know, just living the fucking dream. So I don't know what drove him to go to Ukraine, but he's in Ukraine now. And he was in Ukraine, and I was telling him, I was like, dude, you need to get the fuck out of Ukraine, because it was coming down the pipe. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I wasn't telling him specifics. So I was like, hey, dude, you need to get the fuck out of Ukraine. You need to get the fuck out of Ukraine. And finally, I was like, you need to get the fuck out of Ukraine now, like today, like right now, get the fuck out. So he gets the fuck out. I forget where he went. He went to like fucking somewhere. He went to Turkey. That's where he went. He went to Bangladesh. Yeah, he went to Turkey, and he hung out in Turkey for like 3 months. And now that bitch is back in Kyiv, just living like it's normal, like Kyiv is, or Kiev, or however you say it, is the green zone, and he's out there fucking going and having pastries and tea for breakfast, and back to banging hot Eastern Bloc European chicks, and
I guess nobody's
losing money
business.
in the stock market like the rest of us.
Hey, acting like it's nobody's business. Hey, I did want to ask about Joe Biden though, because I was there. I was in the Army still when he got elected, only for a little. I was fortunate enough to deploy under him.
Thank God.
Yeah. So I did want to ask you your takes on like the morality within the Army and like the patriotism within the Army. Has it gone down since he's joined? How do you feel about it?
Oh, well, that comes back to like the type of soldiers that we're recruiting these days. I think the soldiers that we're recruiting, if they're going against the grain of the predominant culture in the United States right now, I'd say they do have a good amount of patriotism in them. Now, are they willing to fucking rip a motherfucker's head off for America? That's yet to be seen. But you still got the old school cats. You know what I'm saying? You still got the NCOs and the officers that have been in for a long time that did fucking join under the premise of patriotism. And they do try to instill that shit in the young soldiers. So if there's not, it gets developed. And I know for a fact, and I can't speak to everybody else, I'm developing that shit. I don't let that shit go, man. Because this is the way I look at it. All right. So I lead a lot of soldiers. My type of leadership, whether it be negative or positive, remains in that soldier. Now, if I affect this soldier positively, he's going to take what he learned from me and he liked the most, and that's how he's going to turn into a leader. And then he's going to give that to another soldier. So it's basically my fucking DNA is flowing throughout the United States Army right now, because I've led so many soldiers, and my leadership has gone into so many soldiers who's transferred to other soldiers who's transferred to other soldiers. So as long as us guys like us can keep that patriotism positive, and we can find somebody, like especially you guys doing this program or this podcast, it's obvious that you're concerned about it. It's something that your community is concerned about. And if they get out there and they positively or nonchalantly engage in people about patriotism and teach them about patriotism, what it really means to them, especially if you've served, that rubs off on people. And if they like it, they're going to share it with somebody else, and it's going to fucking spread.
So what's your definition of patriotism? What's patriotism to you?
That's patriotism to me, man. So my dad taught me about America. I've always been a history buff. I've always, America was always the good guy. He was always the big guy that was defending the little guy, and I think our country as a whole has kind of strayed away from that. I don't like wolves picking on sheep. I don't like the British, they were the wolves. We were the little guy. We were the little guy who rose above it all to form the constitutional republic that we're supposed to be today. Not the democracy. People get that shit fucked up. It's a constitutional republic. It's not a democracy. People need to get that shit out of their fucking head. But patriotism is fucking keeping and maintaining American values and changing towards better. Now, do I agree with everything Democrats do? No, I don't. I fucking hate Democrats. I think they're fucking pussies. But fucking
I'm sorry.
People deserve to be happy. And as long as they're happy and they're not affecting other people's lifestyle, whether it be gay, LGBT community, fucking, that's fine. I'm all about it, man. They should have as much rights as we should have. And me defending their right to do that is patriotism. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, me defending their right to be who they are does not give them the right to tell me how I have to feel about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what you got to watch out for, though, because they'll be quick to use your values against you. They'll say, oh, it's not American to have borders. But if they were in charge like they are now, you see that they have no morality. It doesn't matter to them. They'll just do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, dude, you got to have control, man. You have to control the border. You can't have just people pouring an influx of unknowns pouring into the country. I live on the border, dude. I can literally, if it was daylight, I could go out on my back porch and I could turn this camera around. You could see fucking Mexico from my house. You wouldn't believe the shit that they catch coming through these borders, dude. They're catching Iranians. They're catching fucking Saudi Arabians. They're catching fucking Afghanis. They're catching Pakistanis. It's not just, woe is me, Latinos. I'm trying to come to America for a better life coming through that fucking border, dude. It's not. It's not. 100%.
Honestly, I never really thought about that, to be honest with you.
It's military. It's like you get a lot of kids and human trafficking. They catch that shit a lot too. The human trafficking is bad with females and little kids, but like it's the majority of it's military age males coming across that fucking border. The majority of it.
I heard too, if you're a woman and you try and cross that border, it was on NPR, so I'm sure it's fucking accurate. But if you're a woman crossing the border, there's like a 50% chance you'll get raped or some crazy shit.
The coyotes. The guys in the field, you got those military age males in the field. They're moving in fucking team/squad size elements across the mountains. And you get a group of females, like 2 or 3 females with kids that are just trying to get over to, actually make a better life for themselves. You're in the fucking mountains. Ain't nobody going to save you. You're on your fucking own,
It's a bunch of dudes that have been trying to get over to America or just been chilling in the mountains for how long with no girls around them too. Just like prison type shit.
That's exactly right, man.
That's the shitty thing too. Don't get me wrong. Like there are a lot of people that come across that are well-intentioned. Like I know a few people that are here illegally, and they love this country more than a lot of my American friends. But it's the people that come across. Yeah, no, they're good people, man. But it's the people that come across and they act a fool over here, who give the rest of the people a bad name.
So I'm not against people immigrating to America. America needs something, and if you're willing to provide a service to America, not like as in military, but like with a skill set and a set of morals, and you're willing to become a leader of some type, not necessarily as a politician or in a government official, but like in a community, like, hey, people see you doing well, and then your morals rub off on them, and it makes a better community because they see what you have. Like, hey, man, I see what he's doing. He's working hard. He's taking care of his family. He's got good kids, or they have good kids, and they want to do the same thing for their families. And that's a positive change that I can get behind. You know, my grandparents, they came over from Italy in World War One, man. When there was
Yeah.
when Italy was communist, they came over on a fucking boat. They came through Staten Island. They did their fucking paperwork. My grandfather served in World War II. His brother served in World War II. My fucking father was too young to serve in Vietnam because he graduated in '76. But you see where I mean, but as when I was old enough to serve, I served. You know what I'm saying? And then my brothers are fucking are upstanding guys in their communities. You know, and so are their wives and their kids. You know, so it's like, you know, if you start a trend of families doing it right, then it's going to become a trend for everybody.
And why do you think that the border has been so unsecured in the
Border's
last
massive, man.
2
It's
years?
not, it's you can only patrol so much space, man. You only have so many assets. You know, the wall. Do I think it's going to help? Man, there's this bar about 20 minutes from my house. It's called the Gay 90s Bar, right?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
So this
All right.
so gay used to mean happy back in the day, Trevor. Okay, so
I was gonna say, is it a gay bar?
no, so it's called the Gay 90s Bar because in the 1890s is when they developed that little town down there, and the Buffalo Soldiers sat on the border, guarding the fucking border. And that was during, like, I think it was during like one of the Spanish American conflicts that we had on the border. It wasn't a major conflict, but anyway, this area was kind of developing in the wilderness, you know. And we could go down there and sit at that bar and go outside and smoke a cigarette because you can't smoke in the fucking bars down here. It's stupid. And fucking, you could, like, the fence is the fence there. It's like literally 20 foot high and fucking concertina wire on top of it. And motherfuckers will climb over it, get caught up in the wire, fall across the border, and fucking break their goddamn arms and legs. And Border Patrol will just come and scoop them. Swear to God, man. Swear to fucking God.
Remember El Chapo? They fucking tunneled like 2 miles to get that dude from jail.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was insane. I watched a 60-minute special on it a few days
You
ago.
seen that? You seen that movie Sicario?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, you know, the first one where they had that house where they fucking did that tunnel underneath the border, and they found all those bodies and fucking drugs in that fucking house.
Yeah.
So that was a depiction of the shit that really happens in Nogales, Arizona, right next to the fucking border, which is about an hour and a half straight down the border from where I'm at right now. That's the shit that's really fucking happening out here. That's might not have been a true story, but it is a 100% depiction of a true story.
I mean, the cartel are fucking crazy, bro. You do not
Dude,
want to fuck with
They
those
will
people.
catch these guys fucking rucking through the desert in no man's land, dude, in Arizona in the summertime with 100-pound fucking rucksacks full of fentanyl, dude.
It's full of coke, dude.
Fucking coke, meth, fentanyl, you name it, dude.
Get to stepping.
Yeah.
Yo,
Oh,
left.
word.
Yo, left. Yo, left.
Cup and Haynes,
Bro.
They're getting it in down here, dude. They're getting it in for sure.
No, it is important to experience it in real life. That's what me and Kevin talk about a lot. Is how much could you teach someone versus how much do they actually have to experience for themselves, and it's something you have to take
Right.
into account with your daughter too.
Yeah.
You know, so kind of how do you go about that even like what are some
Like-
things even you could think of that are some of your experiences that you'd rather just not teach her, you know what I'm saying? Just have her kind of go through it instead. Like one thing for me is like bullying in high school. I want my kids to be bullied. Let them know what is up. Someone bully my kid, and then my kid, if he's not a pussy, which I'm planning to train him to be, he'll bully him
Yeah.
back, you know?
Well, I teach Ray. Ray's very, very. She's not subtle. She's a very, very sweet, kind-hearted person. But I told her because, like, I'll be honest with you, man. My kid does not live in a nice neighborhood at all. She lives in this neighborhood. You can look it up online. It's called Bessemer. It's in Pueblo, Colorado. Pueblo is rated the worst city in Colorado. It's mostly Latin or Latino, and she lives in one of the worst neighborhoods in that fucking city. And like, she's not allowed to go to the park by herself. She has to be with her mom to go to the park. That's how bad it is. And she's a little white girl living in a Mexican neighborhood. So that scares the shit out of me. So every time she comes down here, dude, I rough her up. I was like, you got to learn how to throw hands, girl. I was like, because you don't live in a good spot. I give her pocket knives. She carries fucking blades on her, everything. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying?
No shit.
I don't care. I teach her how to shoot. I had one of my buddies. He's got a 9mm fucking AR. I had her out there fucking pinging steel about 50 meters with a 9mm AR, short barrel, silenced. I'm gonna probably step her up to the AR-15 this year. You know, I'm gonna step her up. I'm gonna buy her a 22 pistol, like one of those Smith and Wesson M&P 22s. I'm gonna get her a little.
Man.
I'm gonna get her a little rig
Ruger.
system.
I got a Ruger LR-22, man. I love that.
Yeah.
shit. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of it.
So, you know, I'm just like gradually training her to defend herself, because I'm also at the same time teaching her, because she had a tragedy in her life, that the fucking world's not goddamn fair, and it's gonna fucking, unless you eat it, it's gonna eat you alive, and that's just the cold hard truth. I really don't hold nothing back from her, to be honest with you, man. I do. There's some stuff I do. There's an elegant way I put it to her. And I can't really explain that to you, because like, it's something that is just between me and her.
Yeah.
It's the way I talk to her. It's the way I can get across to her. And I can only do that if she's sitting in front of my face. But I don't hold anything back to her, man, because
No, you
bad
got
shit.
to, bro.
Yeah.
This ain't like a fucking life and no crime no more. Like, we got to be fucking up on our shit, dude. People are getting abducted right now.
Yeah. I don't like, when she's down here playing, I don't let her leave my street. She can go out here and play on my street all she wants, but she doesn't leave the street.
Oh yeah,
I can't
no,
live
those days are long gone in America.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
but to end it off here, man, if let's say like 5 years down the line, your daughter gets to watch this, or like 10 years down the line, this is gonna be on YouTube and everything sitting here. So just one thing you could say to her, or all the kids struggling, or whatever it may be, what could you say to them, or what would you say to them?
Pain equals progress. 100%. Pain equals, you can either live life in pain, sucking, or you can live life in pain, getting what you want. But either way, it's going to cause pain.
Oh yeah.
It's never easy getting rich. It's never easy being successful. It's never easy getting the job you want. It's easy not doing shit, but it's painful when you're fucking poor and you ain't got nothing. So it's going to be pain either way you go. Just get fucking used to it.
It's money.
Money,
It's
bro.
money, man. I appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely have to have you on again.
Yeah, man. Just let me know, brother. It was good talking to you and good seeing you, man.
Yeah, good seeing you too, man. Glad you're doing well. Good to hear from you.
All right, brother. We'll holler at you later, man. Have a
Yeah.
good night.
For sure. You too, man. Peace.
Peace.